So now recording. So whenever you're ready, you can start. Okay?
네.
Tell your name clearly and loudly. Okay? You see the video camera there?
네.
So we're capturing now. You ready? You're Emily?
Mary.
Mary?
야!
Okay.
Hello, I am Mary from PT2. Democracy follows the idea of majority vote to pass bills and laws in many countries. I see some big flaws with the voting system. First, a country shouldn't always have
Okay, sorry. Okay, ready?
Hello, I am Mary from PT2. Democracy follows the idea of majority vote to pass bills and laws in many countries. I see some big flaws with the voting system. First, a country shouldn't always have to follow the opinion of the majority, as history has shown it can be corrupt. Secondly, the minority is neglected and it causes tension and a divide within the country's people. To begin with, we can be sure that the majority always decides logically and reasonably. Enough information and specialized knowledge are needed for a rational decision. But in our society, just a few people have those abilities. So, for the populace, it is easy to be seduced and be instigated by the popular ideas. Frequently, people make foolish choices because of the influences of the common opinion. Medieval witch hunting and the election of Hitler are the examples which show the foolishness of the majority. Let's look deeper at Hitler. He was the savior for Germany after the First World War. He promised Germans that he would make their country better and wealthier. He used sophistry and stirred up the popular passion. For example, he convinced the majority of Germans that the Jewish people were the demise of Germany and they had to be eliminated. That is the reason how Hitler was elected by the 81% of the population. After World War II, Germans knew their choice was wrong and regretted their actions. And their point is that if this example shows that the vote majority has some major flaws, as all choices are not logical and moral. And their point is that if there is a small difference, it is hard to know who the choice is better. For instance, in Korea's presidential election, President Park was supported with the 51% of the votes, and the candidate Moon was supported with the 48% of the votes. In this case, can we be sure that the supporters of Park Geun-hye have the more rational choice than the supporter of Moon Jae-in? In these situations, majority vote shows its flaws. Secondly, the majority vote causes society to not be unified. The minority group will be angry that their opinions and choices were not chosen. It makes a divide in some countries like America. There are Democrats and Republicans. They have very different beliefs about how much government on the public and private institutions. This causes tension and protest within the country. This also happens in Korea. There have been demonstrations against the FTA between the US and Korea. Many farmers were against it as it was disadvantageous for their livelihood. It makes a lot of disruptions for other people just trying to get around. The news and media reported about it, and it just made Koreans feel a divide they had among their own people. Wherever there is a minority whose idea is neglected, it causes a lot of disruptions. This can be seen in America with the controversy of the same-sex marriage, and in Spain with the issue of abortion. This is another chart which made up for those votes. This is a chart which shows the result of the majority vote of the class president of 37 students. Junseol got the most percent of the votes because 14 people chose him to be leader, and the second is Han with 11 people, the third is Cheon with 8, and the last is Junhyuk. There will also vote a majority vote in this chart. The supporting vote of the Junso, who is the first, just got a 14. It's not even over the half. That means, without those 14 people, no one wanted that Junso to be the leader. This is another chart which made up for those votes. The voters voted for where the best place to hold the Summer Olympic is in 2000. The venue has to be decided by more than half members of IOC. If all were not supported by the majority, the lowest country would be out. And in this chart, the China had been the first until the third vote, but from the first, Australia won over the China. This is an unexpected result. These examples of how majority vote isn't always fair or all representative of all people's desires. Although there are some flaws of the majority vote, I think it is the best solution that we have now. But it is time to think deeper about those flaws. Because debating and thinking aloud are the key which will allow to the more democratic society and the world that everyone can be happy. Thank you.
약간 띄고 해도 괜찮을 것 같아.
이거예요? 아이린 이에요. 아이린이요. 손채영이요.
Okay. You ready?
Yes. Hello, I'm Irene from PT2. Today, I'm going to talk about the standards of evaluation. We can classify them into two large groups. One is absolute evaluation and the other is relative evaluations. Both are used to estimate the achievements of people, usually students, but there are large differences between them. When schools use absolute evaluations, they make standards first, such as A is over 90, B is over 80. And when you get a 92, you can get A. On the other hand, when schools use relative evaluations, students take a test first, and then schools make ranking with their results. And then, for example, if you rank within the top 5% of your class, you can get A. These days, many schools prefer to use absolute evaluations. I too agree with absolute evaluations because it creates healthy competitions between students and it is easier for us to understand ourselves. Firstly, when we grade on a curve, it can trigger violent competitions between students. And due to scores, has caused many fights in schools. Especially Korea, which doesn't have many natural resources, is likely to focus on manpower. In 2011, almost 13% of teenagers' deaths was caused by suicide. Then, also 11.2% of students reported that they thought about suicide more than once last year. Then, the reason they think about suicide is because of the grades. 39.2% of students reported that the grades are the biggest reason why they want to commit suicide. They are frustrated by being ranked and sick of being compared with others. And also, statistics show that 60% of students are stressed from school. All of these outcomes mean that relative evaluation causes intense conflict and stress among students. And secondly, you can have a better grasp your true ability when you get absolute grading. This grading tests you. This evaluation. This evaluation. This evaluation grades according to your true ability and results. On the other hand, relative evaluations doesn't give a true score of your knowledge. So you you are not able to know about your achievements exactly. Another point is absolute evaluation helps you to know about your achievements and talents and skill level. The news program reported that the government is going to adopt a free semester into middle schools. A free semester means that schools can choose one semester to eliminate tests and give students the opportunity to experience their future and work. So, it is helpful for their future and reduces the burden of taking tests all the time. Then, the reason this will come into action is that finding one's own talent and interest is just as important as exams. Then, how can absolute evaluations discover your aptitudes? This evaluation grades according to your results of each subject. Therefore, you can see what subjects you excel in. Next, students will have the opportunity to build up their unique abilities. Therefore, it is good for students to get a grasp on their strengths and weaknesses and upgrade their skills. Grading on a curve incites the students to compete with others and doesn't give a true score of your knowledge. So I disagree with this type of evaluations. However, with absolute evaluation being more focused on Korean education, students are graded more truly and fairly. I am happy to report that recently, a number of schools have converted to absolute evaluations. For our future, we should do petition to change the rest of our educational institutions to change as well. I hope this gives you something to think about. Thank you for your time.
이거 넥스트. 이거 넥스트.
이게 넥스트.
이게 넥스트. 이거.
Hello, my name is Lin from PT2. Now I'm going to talk about chemical castration. Today, the right sexual assaults are becoming a big issue. There is no day when it doesn't appear in the news. As well, the numbers of sexual assault cases are increasing. However, there are no successful preventions or punishment that have worked to stop this. So, since 2011, Korea has enforced chemical castration on criminals which restrain their male hormones and decrease sexual desire by using a drug. There are two standpoints to view chemical castration. One is it is a good institution to stop the sexual crime, and the other is that chemical castration invades human rights. I think chemical castration should take effect since these criminals have violent victims' human rights and to satisfy their sexual desire. They should lose their right as well. Also, chemical castration lets the sex offenders live a normal life. Some people think sex offenders also have human rights, so castration is not the preferred way. However, they raped an innocent person to gratify their sexual and violent impulse. Because sex offenders victimize weak people in favor of their pleasure, they are disqualified as a human. Besides, people who are victimized will want what the offenders to be punished. Victims have damaged not only to their body but also their mental state and mind. Actually, many doctors say almost every patient has psychological trauma, even if the physical wound has healed. Victims are tormented by the sexual assault all their lives. For example, one man raped a girl who was 8 years old in the church. He not only molested but also made serious injuries both to her body and mind. Now she doesn't have the main parts of her organs as they were so badly damaged. So she can't go to the bathroom properly ever again. However, the court decided on a sentence of 12 years. I think the sentence is way too short for these criminals to realize his guilt. So he should be given chemical castration. Next, we have to change some people's mind who think chemical castration is a negative way to punish a criminal. A castration means remove one's reproductive organs, but it is becoming a positive method. According to the result of some research, many sex offenders have more male hormones than normal people. Actually, so they can live a normal life because of their strong sexual desire, which can be restrained by themselves. Actually, sex offenders' repeated crime rate is 20%. On the other hand, offenders who are given chemical castration rate is 0%. Now, please look at the graph. This graph shows the difference between the criminals who accept chemical castration and didn't accept it. The acceptance group's percentage of repeated sexual assault is 0%, but the groups that who refuse are 18%. Next are all repeated offense rate. The former hold 14%, while the latter is 35%. Also, acceptance percentage of sexual crime is low than criminals who refuse it. Its rate is 1% and 22%. There are lots of reasons why we should enforce the chemical castration. Many sex offenders don't consider the victim's human rights, so they don't have a right to respect themselves. And to make them live a normal life, the government has to restrain their male hormones. Because of these reasons, chemical castration must be allowed. Thank you for listening.
이 정도로?
이거 뒤야?
이게 이렇게 넘겨? 해요?
Okay, ready? Stella, right?
Yes. Hello everyone, my name is Stella from PT2. These days, many people in our country have plastic surgery. So in Gangnam, there is a street which is full of plastic surgery clinics. But is having plastic surgery that helpful? I maintain that having plastic surgery isn't good for us. I have two reasons to uphold. First, it can cause health problems as well as losing our self-identity. First, if you have plastic surgery, it is not good for your body. Because if we have plastic surgery, we have to put prostheses in your body. For example, if you have a nose operation, you might have to insert silicone in your nose, and there are a lot of side effects after plastic surgery. According to Hanguk newspaper, of nose operation, 30% of people get the plastic surgery, and because of many reoperations, their nose's skin tissue is easy to be damaged. For example, a Chinese woman came to Korea to get a nose operation, but the operation was failed, so she had a lot of reoperations, and now her nose skin tissue became too thin, so people can see the silicone in her nose. If you have side effects after plastic surgery, it may be too dangerous to continue more surgery. Furthermore, your face can look disgusting. For example, a woman who had a lot of plastic surgery has serious side effects, so she had a lot of reoperations. And now, her face became 3 times bigger than normal people, so she is called fat woman. In fact, 65% of people who had plastic surgery aren't satisfied with the results, and 2,984 people in a year requested consultation because of side effects. Secondly, people lost their uniqueness. If you have plastic surgery, it means that you change your appearance. If you change your face and body, it means that your face and body is not your own thing. Lee Young-ja, Korean comedian, was loved by public. But she lost 36 kilograms with an operation, and she lost her image. She said since she lost her weight, she doesn't know who she is. Finally, after some time off, she came back to broadcasting.
This shows plastic surgery influences self-identity. Do you know the TV program Lab Beauty? This program shows that ugly women to change their appearance more beautiful. The participants in the program said, "I can't remember what my face looked like before I got plastic surgery." That is what they lost. They lost themselves. In the statistics, 47.3% of people, Korean women, get the plastic surgery, and 60% of those in their 20s get the surgery. This percentage is second in the world. If you don't have plastic surgery, your face is only one in the world and you can keep your individuality. But if you have plastic surgery, your face will become common because many people will get the same surgery, such as big eyes, high nose, and sharp jaw. You can see this phenomenon in Korean idols. Before future years, Korean idols' faces were all different. But now they've become similar, so their faces, we can't even distinguish them from each other. Look at this graph. This graph shows the body part which people want to have plastic surgery. 33% of people want to have surgery to change their face shape, and 29% of people want to have nose operation. And 15% of people want to have eyes operation and formal body surgery. 8% of people want to have teeth work done. Of course, people who have serious medical problems need plastic surgery. But that surgery is for healing, not for beauty. Still, many people are getting plastic surgery. Do you want to get plastic surgery? I would not, because it is risky for our body as well as losing our self-identity. The choice is left to you. Thank you for listening.
약간 띄어서 얘기해. 이거 오른쪽이야.
이거요?
이거 오른쪽이야.
Yes. Hello, my name is Nelly from PT2. I'm going to talk about verify the high schools. Before this presentation, I will ask you something, Wesley. What kinds of high schools did you graduate from? Boys' school? Nowadays, there are many kinds of high schools in Korea, such as general high school, special purpose high school, specialized high school, and master high school. General high school is basic high school, and special purpose high schools are high schools for special focus, such as foreign language high school and science high school. Specialized high schools and master high schools are established in order to raise the students as the experts in one field. Many parents and students are opposed to verifying the high schools. On the other hand, I believe that having special purpose high school, specialized high school, and master high schools are better because they better prepare the students for jobs by having practical experience and teach their subjects with more efficiency. First, specialized high schools and master high schools have a diverse curriculum which the students cannot experience in general high schools. In Korea, most students focus on learning from textbooks, so it will become more and more difficult to get a job by just learning theories. In fact, in master high schools, there are special subjects such as electronics, mechanics, shipbuilding, equipment for semiconductors, cars, energy, etc. With these subjects, students can learn about what they want to be and where they want to work. Furthermore, 90.3% of master high schoolers got jobs as soon as they graduate. Also, 38.4% in specialized high school are employed as soon as they graduated. It is much easier to know how to work in a company because students spend on placement in related companies through their schools. Students not only learn about what they want to do, but also practice in the field. Second, in this system, the students can learn more deep. In this system, we can learn our interests in more detail. In Gwacheon Foreign Language High Schools, which includes special purpose high schools, there are 5 different subjects such as English, Japanese, Chinese, French, and German. If the students choose English as their major, they can get many kinds of English lessons. The school tries to develop the students' English conversation ability, reading ability, writing ability, and also they teach the culture of English too. Like this, students can have many classes focused on their interest. Another example, in Yongin Foreign Language High Schools, teachers speak in English and the native language of the foreign language classes. Also, the school uses English in all their formal events. Students can have the chance to be submerged in English and other foreign languages. Please look at this chart. It shows the average math scores in science high school and science high school and general high schools. The orange, which represents general high schools, and the red is science high schools. As you see, the science high schools scores is much higher than general high schools. The next compares foreign language English scores and the general high schools. The sky blue color bar, which signifies foreign language high schools, is 238.4 and the other is 210. We are able to know one thing from these charts. Foreign language high schools and science high schools concentrate more on math, science, and English. Therefore, students can do better in their subjects of interest. About 10 million teenagers study in Korea right now. They have different talents and interests. Therefore, others have to consider how to hone the students' talent. Because special purpose high schools, specialized high schools, and milestone high schools can give the chance to learn diverse curriculum deeply to teenagers, I strongly believe that these high schools have to exist for all students. Thank you for listening.
이거 너무 가까이 하지 말고 이거 오른쪽에.
아, 나와요? 이거 나와요? 넥스트. 넥스트가 이거죠. Many people envy the rich because they don't have to worry about money. But PT2, I have a question to you. Do you really think the rich are always happy? Today, I will share my opinion to this, and my answer is no. Hello everyone, my name is Emily from PT2. I don't think the rich are always blissful. I have 2 reasons why I think not. First, they have a lot of stress, and second, they aren't satisfied with the wealth that they have. Let's look at the media such as news, magazines, and TV. What is being reported about the rich? It's said the rich don't contribute to the social economy, and they have to pay more and donate more taxes. And they often focus on only the good reported, and that can cause some issues. The first problem the news sources talk about is that rich have to contribute to the social economy even if they don't want to donate. In this process, the rich are getting unseen pressure from the news media, and they might have a ton of stress that they have to do. And the Felix Dennis says the rich are not a happy tribe. Demands of others to divide the rich's wealth is really stressful. And Jung Hee-won, reporter from UCH, says the rich don't donate more than low-income people. An example of this is a story of a man named Kim Woo-soo. He earned only 700 won a month, but he still sponsored 5 children. Second, when the people actually think, I don't need more money. Unfortunately, people became the slaves to money. People may be rich as can be, but they are still not satisfied with the wealth that they have and desire to be wealthier. Reporter asked, where does your socio-economic status belong? Interestingly enough, the rich people answered, we think we are the middle class. We can know from this that they are not satisfied with their wealth. They might think, I think I'm in middle class. I have to earn more money. According to Forbes magazine, they might have higher status and higher paying jobs, but they still have higher expectations. But they are still comparing themselves with richer people. Let's look at the graph about the happiness. Costa Rica is the happiest country, while their wealth points is about 2.3, but Korea is about 6.8, while our wealth point is about 6.5. The wealth point gap is about 1.5. There is a saying, ordinary people are worried about only money, but the rich are worried about their money in addition to everything. Of course, there are many happy rich people, but money doesn't make happiness. So let's satisfy our life. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic day.
조용.